In sports, if you want to be the best, there are no off days.
This is the No Off Days podcast, and do not adjust your television sets because Chris Cato's not here. But his stunt double is. We have Sean Barry in the co-host seat. Hey, welcome in. How does it feel?
Thank you. Appreciate this. I've been a guest before, never a host.
You have?
Yeah.
I know. Well, this is more of an audition, really, than anything.
I gotcha.
Because
Yes.
Chris is not, again, the name of the show is No Off Days. And
Right.
So I feel like he's defying the rules of the show, the number one rule of the show. This is really, we're kind of having an unprecedented show because we're actively involved in a Fox 13 fantasy football draft as we speak.
We are.
Sean and I are both in it,
Yeah.
and these are like 30-second rounds. So we've already started, and I already don't like my team. I
forgot to turn off auto draft.
I was on auto draft for the first bit. It's just a disaster. This is not a great start. But we do like what we have on today's program. And for more on that, let's bring in Brian King from the brains of the operation. Here we go. Okay, so you're not in our fantasy football league, so it's your job when we get distracted to keep us on track. Okay, it's my pick. Hang on. Who should I go with? I have Jahmyr Gibbs is out there. We got Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think you should take a defense. Round two.
It put me back on auto pick. This is a disaster. Okay, we're going to have to. Anyway.
This guy.
All right. Never mind. It's back to you, BK. Who do we have on today's show?
We've got a great show, Scott. Taking a break from your draft there. We're going to talk to Shaun King, former Buck quarterback. He's also out in Vegas right now, I believe, and he's got a little radio podcast deal working, and he's a former USF assistant coach as well. We're going to talk to him, get his college picks. But also coming up, I'm excited about this, Bucky Irving. That could have been your draft pick right there. He's going to be joining us.
Bucky?
Yeah, talk a little bit about
We've
checking
been
with the
trying to
rookie.
get Bucky on the show for a while now, and so I'm
You
glad
have
that we've
been.
made this happen.
Yeah, Scott's been because he's Oregon Duck.
Well, and speaking of Oregon, I feel like I have to hash some stuff out in that regard because if I had to just give like week one grades, I'm going to give Oregon a D+.
Wow.
Honestly. What they did against Idaho, yes, I realize they're one of the better teams in the FCS.
What did they need to do to get an F then? That's my question.
Well, they had to lose.
Well,
They won the
Fair
game, but it
point.
was a
Fair
3-point
point.
game in the fourth quarter, and they put up a lot of big numbers. Dylan Gabriel, I thought he looked okay, but like no explosive plays, nothing down the field. Longest pass was 24 yards. Their offensive line, to me, was like way too vulnerable against an Idaho pass rush. Are you kidding me?
The only school to voluntarily ever go from the FBS to the FCS.
Did they really?
Yeah, about like a decade and a half ago, I think. Yeah.
Okay, they've been relegated. What if you guys would grade? I feel like FSU is probably like low-hanging fruit, and they've kind of been kicked while they're down already. But if you had to grade like any one team, pick one.
I'm a Penn State fan, so I'm going to go with my Nittany Lions. I'm going to give them, and as a fan, I have to kind of temper myself, but I'll give them an A-, right?
Okay.
Right? Drew Aller did some good things. The big knock on him last year was he couldn't throw down the field. Well, he threw down the field for a couple of long touchdown passes. There was a 2.5-hour rain delay in that game.
That's where you lost me. I was watching it up till then.
It was right, and then you just kept checking your phone, and it wasn't refreshing. But I would still like to see the offense do a little bit more. But that being said, going into a raucous environment in Morgantown, that was a trap game that a lot of people had the Mountaineers winning. So Penn State, as one of the only ranked teams to absolutely dominate another Power 5 opponent, I'm going to give them an A-.
BK, do you have a grade?
I do have a grade, and I'm going to stay in the Big Ten with USC. Holy cow, did you see that game with
they're in the
LSU?
Big Ten.
I'm not getting used to that at all.
I know, it's
I'm not
strange,
used
isn't
to
it?
that.
And I bet everybody in the Big Ten took a notice of Miller Moss.
Moss.
But the defense on USC, I mean, everybody kind of knew and remembered Miller Moss from last year. But that defense is something else now. And that's a good LSU team they essentially shut down.
It's a crazy thing to think of. The Pac-12, not known for its defenses, as soon as you put the Big Ten patch on the Trojan jerseys,
Maybe that's
boom,
it.
they have
That's all
defense.
you need to do this whole time. Yeah, I mean, it seems like if they can get that program, Lincoln Riley's been, I know, trying for years to get that thing cooking. And, man, they could be one of the big surprises in the Big Ten this year with so much discussion about Oregon joining the Big Ten and what Ohio State's going to bring back and whether Michigan can repeat. That maybe the sleeper in the Big Ten is USC. I don't know. It was impressive to be able to go on the road week one and get it done against LSU. That was a neutral site game. That was Vegas.
Oh, hold up. Sorry, I'm drafting
Are you
again.
on? Who you got?
Let's
who you
see.
taking?
We got Cooper Kupp, Chris Olave, Michael Pittman. We got Rashad White with the Bucs. I do need another running back.
Yeah, there you go. See, I think Rashad White's going to have a good year, fantasy-wise.
Well, I'm just picking
Unless
Cooper
Bucky
Kupp.
steals some carries from him. Okay, and BK at the end of the show?
End of the show, since Shaun's on the show with us, why not give him a shot to do the randomizer?
Perfect.
Take a spin with it, yeah.
Put him on the hot seat. All right, thanks, BK.
Thanks,
if you're
buddy.
listening and you want to watch, go to fox13news.com/NODPOD. If you're watching and you want to listen or subscribe, you can take out your phone, zap that QR code on the screen in the bottom right-hand corner, and there you can find all of our shows. We invite you to subscribe, to share, and to like. Give us a 5-star rating. Do all these wonderful things, and we will be indebted to you forever, and maybe Shaun will come to your house and hand deliver a bouquet of flowers or something along those lines.
We're doing what now?
Okay, so as mentioned, excited to have Bucky Irving on the show. You know, a lot of Bucs rookies, I think, this year have a chance to be splash players. Jalen McMillan, of course, the receiver out of Washington, he shows up and he becomes a starter for this team. You got Graham Barton right there in the middle of that offensive line.
You've got a lot of young players on this team in general, too, and they've gotten progressively younger over the last couple of years without even really having to do a rebuild with this, which is something kind of unique that you don't see a lot.
But it'll be interesting to see the dynamic in the backfield with Bucky. And just, I want to be clear before I toss to my interview with him, that no, this was not just an interview because I'm an Oregon Duck fan and he's an Oregon Duck. I just want to make that. In fact, I think it barely came up. Let's take a listen. Pleased to welcome into the show Bucky Irving, the newest running back for the Buccaneers. Let me adjust my camera here, Bucky, just so I can make sure everything is good. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm an unbiased journalist here. There's obviously no rooting interest, but I do have to ask, what happened to the Ducks last week against Idaho?
I mean, man, them guys, first couple times for them guys playing with each other. I mean, that's how we pretty much started off. One of my first years started off pretty slow, but as we got the communication and getting well to play with each other, we got it going towards down the road, down the season.
Okay, I like the optimism here. I mean, you make the big move into the Big Ten. There's a lot of course, buzz about national title hopes and all that. I know you've had to have talked to some of the guys back in Eugene. How are they kind of processing that week one close victory?
They know that wasn't the standard. It's supposed to look a certain way when you play them type of teams, but I mean, they just got back to work. It's gonna be a hard week this week. I know how Coach Lannon is, but them guys gonna come out this week and pretty much play a hard one.
You said how Coach Lanning is. How is he after? I mean, if you had to just guess, like how he would respond.
I'll probably say he'll probably just say that wasn't the standard. It wasn't supposed to look like that. We know what Oregon football looks like, and we always supposed to set that expectation and meet that standard.
Yeah, one of the things that kind of stood out to me was just the lack of explosiveness. I mean, the numbers were there. The offense moved it, but longest pass play I think was like 24 yards. The explosiveness wasn't there. I know Dylan Gabriel's no Bo Nix, but how do you kind of assess Gabriel's performance? How do you think that fit is for him?
I think he played pretty well. He was taking what the defense give him. I mean, when you got a whole new team of transfers and things like that, I mean, there's only so much time that you could get so much communication and connection with them guys. I know they came in, they had fall camp and things like that, but I feel like practice is way different from the game. All the guys got to be on the same page, but as they get going and connected and know what they type of offense and what clicks for them, I think that'd be fine.
Yeah, I think that we're understanding that the portal is obviously a wild card to some extent. We see that up in Tallahassee so far. Speaking of Bo Nix, you play him here in just a couple of weeks as Denver rolls into town. Have you guys had any side wagers? Is there any smack talk already? Is that starting?
No. That's one of my best friends. We talk pretty much anytime we could get. I wish him none but the best. I mean, we going against each other, but I'm not on the field when he on the field, and he not on the field when I'm on the field. So
that's fair. That's fair. So you come to Tampa. And obviously, like, you come to a place that is obviously this like UW pipeline. Are the guys like Vita and like Joe and Jalen, are they nice to you? How does that go?
I mean, they my teammates, so they nice, but they give me trash every day about it, man. I gotta hear it from J Mag to Devin to Vita, all them guys.
Yeah, well, we'll see how the trash talk looks at the end of the season. I have a feeling it might change a little bit. All right, so one of the areas that the Bucs obviously struggled with last year was in the run game. Based on what you've kind of seen so far, this Liam Cohen offense, how do you think it'll accentuate the skill in the running back room?
I pretty much think that the run game would be pretty good this year. He find different ways to get his ball carriers the ball in space and create explosive plays. So I think if we just continue to do what we've been doing in practice and translate it over to the game, we'll be fine.
I mean, week one is finally here. I mean, between OTAs, mini camp, training camp, all the the preseason games, did it feel like an eternity, a build up to your first pro debut?
Yeah, I feel like we've been working pretty hard. I mean, we was building up for the first preseason game, got that out the way. Then the second preseason game, just rounding it all up, putting in the work to get here to week one so we can be ready to roll.
Are you a butterfly guy? Do you get those, or are you just numb to it?
No, I pretty much just go out there and treat it like a kid's game, how we used to play back in the day. Just go out there and have fun. Can't think too much.
All right, Bucky, later in the show, I have to give my NFC South predictions. So you're my insider. I'm going to need give me a reason, give me a little nugget that not everybody else is talking about as to how the Bucs are going to fare this year.
I mean, we're going to go out there and compete very hard for one another. We're going to go out there and try to win every game that we go out there and play. I mean, that's the standard around here. Guys that go out there and compete at a high level and win football games.
Well said. He's a duck. He's a buck, and he comes to bring some good luck. How about that? I'm just a schmuck. So there you go. Can you throw me up one of these? There it is, baby. Bucky Irving, thanks for being on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So I think it was a fair interview. There was no like homerism.
Fair
Did you see anything?
And balanced. I like the shirt. Was that a Donald Duck shirt or?
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm not going to say just because we barely beat Idaho.
Welcome to the Big Ten, Scott.
Yeah, here we go. Hopefully it's not a long season. On the other side, we have kind of week by week gone through the NFL and given our predictions. Shaun wasn't a part of that, but we have his predictions on the NFC South, plus Chris Cato remotely will give us his picks for the NFC South as well. That's when the NODPOD continues. Welcome back to the No Off Days podcast. We have Shaun Berry in the hot seat today, and you've picked the right time to join the program. And this could be temporary, or this could be an audition for you, depending on Chris's tenure and how long.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm drafting.
Are you?
Yeah.
Again. What do you need now? What position?
I could go with another wide receiver.
Okay.
I think I'm going to take. You know what? I'm high on Tank Dell. Let's go with him.
Ooh, okay. He could have a nice little season for those Houston Texans. All right. We already covered the AFC South. Now we got to get into the NFC South. So, without further ado, we're going to start from the bottom. I give you the honors to start first. Who is the team that's going to finish in dead last in the NFC South this year?
We're starting from the bottom. Now we're here?
We're going to get there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start with these guys. It's the Carolina Panthers. I'm sorry. When you look, I know I hate to nag on Dave Canales, but when you look on what they had last year and what they have this year, still not much better. We don't know what Bryce Young is going to be. You hope Dave Canales is going to be that guy that he helped, Geno Smith. He helped Baker Mayfield. You hope he's going to help Bryce Young. They trade for Deontay Johnson, Tampa Bay native from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some videos of him coming out in the preseason of, continuing to drop some passes even at practice. So we'll see what happens with them. But, I mean, there's really nowhere to go but up, but that ceiling still isn't too high.
That is true. Well, we don't know how high the ceiling is. Maybe they shatter some ceilings this season. My bottom team in the NFC South, surprising. Maybe it's not a surprise. I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are bagging on the Saints, and the Saints go back to being the Aints this year. Look, they have weapons. Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave. I like some of the pieces in that offense. The O-line is not very good. Their defense, I think, is still formidable. But, look, your two biggest pieces to me is who's running the show and who's your quarterback. Dennis Allen, I like him as a defensive coordinator. I don't love him as a head coach. He has yet to prove it to me. His record way below 500 as a head coach. Derek Carr, and I was kind of high on him when he went to the Big Easy. But last year was kind of eye-opening for me. I'm just not sold on it. And so because of that 1-2 punch there, I got the Saints finishing 6-11 at the bottom of the NFC South. All right, your third-place team in the South.
For all the reasons you just said and more, I'm going to pick the Saints. Not quite the Aints. I got them about 6 or 7 wins as well. But you look at how much talent, like you said, that team has. They're not going to finish at the very bottom of this division when a team won just 2 games to finish last in this division last year. So, yeah. Pretty much you hit all the talking points on the head.
Okay, well then I guess it's my job to then tell you why I like the Panthers a little bit more than I like the Saints.
That's fine.
So here, this last week, or maybe it was like 2 weeks ago, Tua Tagovailoa comes out and talks about what life was like with Brian Flores as his head coach and how much different it feels now that he has a head coach that believes in him. In Mike McDaniel, a guy that says, you have all the skill sets we need. I'm going to take that situation, and I believe it has something to do with what's going on in Carolina. You have, not that Frank Reich didn't believe in Bryce Young, but I think when you need a coach that's going to believe and buy into you and kind of put that wind in your sail, Dave Canales is your guy. I mean, there is a reason. I don't think it's just a coincidence that he got the best out of Geno Smith and had something to do with the success that Baker Mayfield had here in Tampa Bay. I think that's going to be a big piece. Plus, I do like some of the pieces that they added. I like Deontay Johnson, and I like more. I like his accent too. In Xavier Leggett, their first-round pick. That was first round, right, or was it second? I don't know, but it was.
One of those
he was
two.
Their first pick. I think they got enough weapons, and I think defensively, I think they're a little underrated. So I have them, with a 5-win swing this year, getting back up to 7-10, finishing third. All right, second place in the NFC South.
Before I get there, I just wanted to say one more thing. I agree with you. I would run through a brick wall for Dave Canales, having sat through a lot of his
Prove
press
it.
conferences.
We have a brick wall right behind you.
Is that real brick?
Yes, run through it. Come
we
on.
are fancy here at Fox 13.
Okay.
The problem being, he's never been a head coach before, and he has 1 season as a coordinator under his belt. So I can't give them
That's what they said
that
last
high
year
of a
when he was an OC. That's what they
all
said.
right, fair point. I'm going with the Falcons to finish second in the division. I know they added all of these pieces in the offseason.
It's an all-star team.
I know they paid Kirk Cousins. Maybe they could have helped him out a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit more Falcons if you selected a receiver or another weapon there in the first round.
Made sense.
I'm not saying our guy
Michael Penix
Jr. Thank you. Name escapes me sometimes. I'm not saying that was a bad pick in the first round, but at the same time, you could have added a little bit more to. Your window is open now. You paid the guy. You paid Kirk Cousins. If your window is open now, you better keep it open for as long as you can. So, yeah, I'm for all those reasons, I am going to take them second.
They're going to be a feisty bunch this year.
Yeah.
I have them finishing in second as well. I mean, how can you not with as much talent that's been kind of infused? I like Kirk Cousins. I think he's a guy that has the ability to kind of right the ship, and he's been used to having these echoes from behind throughout his career. When he was in Washington, he had that with RG3, and yet he still kept focused on his job on the field and made a name for himself as a quarterback in this league, despite that situation. So, maybe there's some rumbles. Let's get the ball to Penix. Let's get him in the game. I think Kirk Cousins is going to handle that situation pretty well. I like Bijan Robinson. Still not sold on Kyle Pitts yet. Their receiving core is okay. Drake London, who I accidentally drafted in my fantasy team because it's on auto pick apparently.
Yeah, I've accidentally drafted a lot of people.
But defensively, they do bring in Justin Simmons and they bring in Judon. That's going to help the pass rush that was just awful. But to me, it's like too many moving parts to really get the type of consistency that I think a winner needs. So I have them having a winning record at 9-8, but I have them finishing second. All right, why are the Bucs winning the NFC South?
Because
for is it the fourth straight year?
Yeah, fourth year in a row. The Falcons are one of those teams that every year we have a team that wins the offseason, right? Like they make all the right moves, they make the splash plays. I feel like the Falcons are that team that won the offseason this year. Problem is, it never really turns out well for the team that won the offseason. You can think of the Browns a couple of years ago when they brought in Odell Beckham Jr., and then eventually they got Deshaun Watson. You can talk
the Browns.
It is the Browns. You can talk about the Jets bringing in Aaron Rodgers last year and bringing in that host of talent. It is the Jets. Well, this is the Falcons. What have they ever done? Not to mention, you walk into that building over at One Buck Place and you see the confidence that this team is just oozing with Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Cato. Like everyone is just – they know they have a high ceiling, and they expect it to be that high. So the confidence, not to mention this team has won the division the last couple of years, maybe not in the most convincing of fashions, losing record, 9 wins last year, but this is still a team I feel like that has a wind in their sails headed into the regular season.
I didn't know where to place them this week, and then Todd Bowles decided he wanted to light up the internet with pounding on the table and saying he's excited, and that got me excited. And look, I'm kidding, but it also does reflect this, as you said, kind of a confidence. Like they're having fun, and part of that comes with the consistency. They bring back so many key parts of last year. They paid a bunch of guys. They say you're wanted here. I think the consistency alone, Baker Mayfield showed enough last year. I think their offensive line is going to take another step. And how could it not with what they've invested into that offensive line? I think they're going to be very good. And defensively, here's a name for you. I think Kalijah Kancey is going to be a Pro Bowler here in his second year. I expect some of these young guys to really become significant playmakers, like Yaya Diaby. I don't think the ankle injury is going to slow him down at all. I'm a little bit worried about that pass rush from the outside, but the interior rush between Vita and Kancey, I think Kancey's going to have a big year because Vita, you got to put at least two guys on that guy to slow him down. Kancey's going to benefit from that.
Even though he slimmed down a little bit, right?
Yeah, but the guy could still lift a mountain. So, all right, so I got the Bucs winning the NFC South with a record of 10-7. So there you have it. We've given you all our predictions. I will give you Chris Cato's predictions right now. This is how Chris Cato thinks the NFC South is going to stack up. All right. He has, coming in last place, the Carolina Panthers. He's in agreement with you, actually, right down the board. He's got the Saints coming in third, the Falcons in second, and he likes the Bucs to win the South as well.
I knew I liked that guy for a reason.
Well, you shouldn't like him too much because we're trying to promote you to his chair. All right, stay with us. On the other side, we are going to get to our guest picker. It would be one Shaun King, the only guy in this room that can throw a spiral. And he's not quite in this room, but he will be shortly enough. When the No Off Days podcast continues. Stay with us. Welcome on back to the No Off Days podcast. It is time for our picks segment. You ready for this, Shaun?
I am ready for this.
I don't know if you're ready to be the second Shaun on the show because our guest picker this week is none other than former Bucs quarterback Shaun King coming to us from Las Vegas. He's sporting the green. It's not the green wave, but he's got the green on. That is the USF Bulls for sure. Shaun, welcome on in.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me. Let's see if we can make the good people some money this week.
Okay, all right. I like it. Okay, so we're going to kick things off with your alma mater. We got 17th-ranked Kansas State paying a visit to the Big Easy, taking on Tulane. This is Saturday noon kickoff. Who you like, Shaun?
What we started to see across America is there's some quality programs not named Georgia, Alabama, and such, in this new college football landscape. And I definitely think Tulane is one of them. Matter of fact, I think we're calling ourselves the State University of Louisiana now that we've beaten USC and LSU couldn't. I'm taking the points of my alma mater, man. Human Stadium is going to be rocking. The Glazier family, who everybody there in Tampa knows very well. They'll be at the game, have some alums in that family from Tulane. I'm taking the points of Tulane. I think K-State might be a little too much for us early in the season, but I think it'll be a close game. I think we keep it within the listed number.
Yeah. All right. To our second Shaun.
I was going to say from one Shaun to another.
From one Shaun to another. Who you like?
This is no disrespect to our guest, but I'm going to take the Wildcats as well. I don't know if you know this, but Tulane started a bit of controversy earlier on in the season when they proudly proclaimed that they had the cheapest beer in all of college football. It was, in fact, a lie because Louisiana Lafayette, or whatever they're calling themselves now, has it. So give me the Wildcats plus 10 or minus 10, sorry.
Okay. All right, so I got to split the baby here.
I come from a keep score atmosphere. We keep the score, Shaun.
All right, so both these teams, they're going to like to pound the ball, both coming off cupcake wins just last week. I think it's going to come down to who runs the ball better and, more importantly, maybe whose defense can step up and stop the run. Tulane, they had the best run defense in the American Conference last year. Got a new head coach with a new defensive identity, and John Summerall coming over from Troy. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull off the win on their home turf, but I think they keep it to single digits. So give me the green wave and the points at home. And I didn't just do that because we got Shaun King on. All right, let's go to our second game. Also a noon kickoff. We got number 3 Texas there, 7.5-point favorites, taking on Big Blue Michigan. Who you got, Shaun?
So I'm going to surprise a lot of people because it seems like the public and every sharp that I know is on Texas. A lot of them got a better number than the 7.5 that's out there now. A lot of people got 6.5. Well, ding, ding, ding. Hey, I'm taking the Wolverines. Listen, they brought in Wink Martindale from the Ravens for this kind of game. How do we shut down a high-powered offensive opponent like Texas? I still think there are huge question marks on that Texas defensive line. Can they replace T'Vondre Sweat and Byron Murphy? I think this is the game where they get exposed. I know people are going to say Michigan didn't look great. I think people are underestimating how good Fresno State is going to be this year. So I think that'll end up being a quality win. I'm going to put a little bit on Michigan money line, but I'm definitely taking the 7.5 points. If you notice, there's a trend here. Home dogs, guys. Home dogs.
In my mind, Texas looked way too good week one. Whether it was Quinn Ewers, whether it was Arch Manning, doesn't matter.
Right.
Plus, guys, I'm a Penn State fan. Hook 'em horns.
Oh, boy.
There's no love lost in the Big Ten.
No doubt. Michigan's offense, 269 yards against Fresno State. Fresno State may well be a sleeper, but this is your defending national champs. A one-score game in the fourth quarter last week. I know their defense is still good. Texas's offense, I think, is going to be lights out, and I think their defense steps up in a big way. I got Texas by double digits on Saturday afternoon. All right, you're wearing the shirt. I'm assuming you're taking your bowls. We got USF rolling into Tuscaloosa. Last year, low-scoring game in the slop here at Raymond James Stadium. Bama, 31-point favorite. Shaun, who you like on Saturday night?
I did think Alabama looked impressive in week one, but I think this South Florida team is a dark horse to make the college football playoff. Coach Goalies has done a good job down there instilling confidence. They've got a really good quarterback there in Brown. I don't know if they can win in Tuscaloosa, but I definitely think they can keep it within 31. So I'm gonna take 31 in the
Take the money line. Take the money line.
So here's the deal with taking the money line. If it was in Tampa, maybe, but it's just something about teams with that kind of championship genealogy. I don't like to waste money. Every penny counts. So we're gonna be happy if the Bulls can keep it within 31. We're taking South Florida plus 31.
Okay.
I'm going to say, you hear that's getting a ratings boost because he's given the Bulls at least a fighting chance in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
So am I as well. 31 points, that's what they're giving the Bulls. That is a lot. And I can almost see kind of a backdoor cover. Maybe Alabama's up by 30, 32 there in the fourth quarter. Byron Brown gets loose, finds the end zone. I think they'll keep it at least respectable, right? I think the Bulls are going to cover this too.
Well, I don't think that's what odds makers think. I don't think they're going to think it's respectable, but I don't think a lot of them know exactly who Byron Brown is just yet, even though he came up on the scene last year. Both these teams are so different than they were last year, and we mentioned Milroe in that game. But I think Brown is the bigger X factor, just how much this guy has grown. He's packed on muscle in the offseason. I mean, we didn't see him really fling the ball down the field last week against Bethune-Cookman. And I think if there is an area that he might be able to exploit, and Brian King, our producer, who is a dyed-in-the-wool Crimson Tide fan, he may check me on this, but I believe their preseason knock was their secondary. Does it get exposed a little bit? Look, Bama's defense is faster than anything they're going to probably see all year long. And I don't think they pull off the win in Tuscaloosa, but I do think they keep it under 31, so I'm going to take the Bulls and the points. All right, we got a couple of top 25 matchups here. We got an SEC-ACC showdown. This also a Saturday night game. It's 14th-ranked Tennessee rolling into a supposed neutral site game in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium, taking on number 24 NC State. Shaun, who you like?
I'm going to stay with my trend, man. Home dogs. I think the Wolfpack is getting 8. The last time I saw an updated line. Don't think West Carolina wasn't going to put up a fight. Old USF coordinators now, the head coach there, Mr. Curran Bell, and Western Carolina came in and gave him a hard fight. But I'm telling you, that's a raucous environment down there in Raleigh. I don't know if a lot of people got to watch the NC State game, but their quarterback, Grayson McCall, is a young man that was at Coastal Carolina the last 3 years, who did an outstanding job. They got a great running back there in Waters and a top-level receiver in Concepcion. Now, I know the quarterback in Tennessee looked like he was worth every penny. Allegedly, he got upwards of almost $5 million over 4 years to come from California to Rocky Top and help get them back to the top of the SEC. And 22 or 28, 300 plus, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, nothing to sneeze at. I do think Tennessee wins, but I think NC State makes this a barn burner. I'm taking the points and the home pack.
I want to see that. All right, Shaun.
You saw a lot of these big college teams, even ranked teams in week one, kind of struggle with like lesser opponents. We just talked about Michigan. You just mentioned, Western Carolina was leading in the fourth quarter against NC State and Raleigh. Here's the problem, though. Western Carolina, rather, they're ranked 17th in the FCS polls. Chattanooga's ranked 10th.
Well,
yeah. And Tennessee wouldn't let
FCS
the Mocs
polls
get up off the mat. Give me Tennessee.
Oh, boy. Okay, all right. So you did a little reversal there. Look, this is the name we're all going to be knowing how to pronounce by the end of the season, and I'm going to try it right now. Nico Iamaleava. Is that right? Nico
We're going to give you
Iamaleava.
Just say
I'm going to have plenty of time
man.
to practice because I think this guy's going to be your SEC newcomer of the year. He's tall. He can sling that ball. He's got accuracy. I don't think there's anything slowing down this Volunteer offense come Saturday night. I'm going to say Tennessee by at least double digits in Charlotte. All right, let's hit the NFL now. We got the Washington Commanders kicking off the season at Raymond James Stadium, paying a visit to your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs come in 3.5-point favorites. Sean, who gets it done on Sunday?
I think the Bucs win, but I'm taking the points with Washington. Dan Quinn, first game as the head coach. Cliff Kingsbury, second go-around in the National Football League, this time now as an OC. But more importantly, I think Jaden Daniels is a more athletic version of C.J. Stroud. That's how much I think of the rookie quarterback. So in Baker, we trust. I do think Tampa's a potential playoff team. But I think this is going to be a game that goes down and somebody will kick a field goal to win it. So we're getting the hook with the Commanders, I think. So I'm going to take the 3.5, but I think the Bucs win on the tight.
I'll tell you what, I like Jaden Daniels too. I really do, especially with that coaching staff they have in Washington. The problem is his first game as a pro is going up against a Todd Bowles defense. I don't like that for a rookie quarterback's first taste of the NFL. I think it will be a close game, definitely under 10 points, but not within that 3.5 margin. No way.
I do think that line is tricky because I think it's going to fall right in there. I think it's going to be less than a touchdown. I just happen to think that it's going to be maybe a touch up more than 3.5. Jaden Daniels, love the guy. I think he's going to be a great pro. But I think we see a big game out of Rachaad White as the Bucs get game one under their belt, and they cover that 3.5.
I will say this before we leave this game. I think the world of Bucky Irving. I was a big Rachaad White fan coming out of Arizona State, and I think the first quarter of the season, his potential is going to have to manifest itself in consistent production. So I think we're going to see more of Bucky Irving.
Nice little 1-2 punch.
I was going to say, as an Oregon fan, you love to hear that.
Yeah, we just had Bucky on the show. So, I mean, the guy's got so much make you miss that, I mean, I love him. And as a Ducks fan, all day. But I think Rachaad White showed a lot last year, especially what he could do in the pass game. And I don't see why that slows down. I think they complement each other. All right, let's hit Monday night. We got the Jets, the return of Aaron Rodgers. The ankle's ready to roll, taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Niners, 4.5-point favorites in their home park. Who you like, Sean?
This is a tough one for me because I like to actively root against Aaron Rodgers just because it makes you feel good. Like, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy you want to grab a beer with, right? So in this situation, because of the contract situations, I know they just got Trent Williams signed. The last I heard, obviously, a little early in the week, they agreed to a deal with Brandon Ayuk. But these are guys who have not been in training camp, who have not played in the preseason. I think San Francisco gets off to a slow start. Brock Purdy struggled a little bit in the preseason. I think they get off to a slow start. I don't know if the Jets can go to San Fran and win, but I'm taking Jets plus, 4.5?
Yep.
I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place on this one because, like you, Sean, this Sean, doesn't like to root for Aaron Rodgers for a multitude of reasons. Yeah, he doesn't seem like a guy you'd want to go have a beer with. Be a very weird night from that point on out with Aaron Rodgers. The plus 4.5 that the Jets are getting, though, I mean, you're right, Brock. We haven't seen a lot of Brock Purdy. We haven't seen Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams. This has been a team that hasn't seen its stars play in the preseason, whether it's because they're resting or because of contract negotiations. So, yeah, give me the Jets to, enter in that margin, play a close game down there in Santa Clara.
We're sitting there talking a lot about Brock Purdy and Aaron Rodgers, and I think we're sleeping on this Jets defense that is legit. But I think Aaron Rodgers, nobody likes to hold a grudge more than Aaron Rodgers. So he's coming back. He's got something to prove. This is the team that he has held that grudge against his entire career, the 49ers that passed on him on draft day. I say, Aaron Rodgers, give me the Jets money line straight out. They win it Monday night under the lights. And the name that shall not be named on this podcast, when Chris Cato. Okay, we do have his picks. Here we go. He's saying Tulane plus 10, Michigan plus 7.5. He's got USF covering as well. Tennessee, Tampa Bay on the NFL side. He likes the Bucs, and he likes the Jets on Monday night as well. Shaun King.
Can I say one thing before
Yes.
we leave? Put a play in on Breece Hall to be Offensive Player of the Year. Don't waste your money on MVP because a running back can't win MVP in the current NFL, no matter what he does. But I like Breece Hall to potentially be Offensive Player of the Year.
bolstering my case for the Jets to win outright on Monday night. I like it. Breece Hall coming up big. Shaun King, we appreciate your time. We love your expert analysis. Thanks for joining us on the No Off Days podcast. Coming up on the other side, it's time to dial up our old game, the randomizer. We're going to see how domesticated you are, Shaun.
Oh, wow, it took us this long. You were doing so well.
I know.
You were doing so well, Scott.
Well, it's the jersey that threw me off. I'm off my game. Stay with us. NODPOD's back after. How do you like this little lineup? Joe Burrow as my starting quarterback. I predicted earlier a couple of weeks ago that he was going to have a resurgence. My running backs, I got one Rashad White and Jahmyr Gibbs. Two guys that can both run it and catch it. And then my receivers, I got Jamar Chase and Drake London. Drake London was an accident. I was on auto pick, so I didn't mean to do that.
How about future NFL MVP Jordan Love, followed up by Breece Hall and Raheem Mostert?
Yeah.
It's going to be a rough season for you, Scott. Sorry.
For you. Okay. Welcome back to the Off Days podcast. It is time to bring Brian King back into the show. Brian, just based on what we told you right there, who do you like better for their fantasy football?
I'm not sure who I like better, but maybe you should do your college picks and your weekly picks on auto pick.
Yeah, okay.
You know, because that seems a little bit more solid than what your week was last week.
Ouch.
Look, we all got hosed on the Florida
Boy,
State
week
pick.
ones are tough. Week ones are so tough to
They're
pick.
tough.
They are. But now, week two
Now we know.
starts. Yeah, now we know what we're working with here.
Exactly.
All
right.
Shaun, does
0-2
Shaun know what
after week one, right?
Yeah, we'll get there.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
All right. What are we working with in the randomizer?
We're doing a randomizer.
segment?
Does Shaun know how this thing works?
I don't know. Do you know anything about the randomizer?
I have no idea what this is.
Tell him about the technology
It's a
that
big
goes
machine
into this.
back in sports you have to walk around every time you get to your desk.
Yeah.
We fire that up periodically, and it just randomly spits out questions, and you got to tell us what your response is to these questions.
All right.
You got that?
Are you good with thinking on your feet?
I'm currently off my feet, but yeah, we can try this. We can give it a spin.
So we'll give it a spin, and we've worked it to where all you have to do is say stop, and it will automatically stop. It's voice activated.
Okay.
Give that thing a spin, Shaun.
All right, here we go.
So again, the key word is STOP. If I said it.
Stop. Ooh.
What is one household chore, regardless of price, you would never
says cost.
pay for?
It does.
Whatever it would cost. Yeah, I'm kind of in my glasses.
So does that mean this is something that I would never pay someone to come do at my house?
Yeah,
I'm not
like
gonna pay somebody to
what
do.
is a household chore that you can do that you don't want to pay someone to do? Do you do any chore? Do you know what that is?
I do. Yes, I do.
Do you
chores.
get paid to do your chores in your house?
No, not anymore. But I did. I had an allowance growing up.
Did
you?
you?
It exponentially went up from $2 to $10 to $20.
Wow.
Inflation, right?
This spoiled brat.
Thank you. I think I've gotten really good at this point in my life at building IKEA furniture.
Oh,
It's a tedious task.
It certainly is.
But it's like if you think about it, it's like the adult version of like Legos or Lincoln Logs or something. Like,
That's a good way to look at
might
it.
take me an hour or two, but like I consider it a challenge. So I'm not going to pay someone to come do that because
Yeah.
I already paid enough to get it in the first place.
Well, there's nothing I like about IKEA.
No.
There's nothing I like. I don't like their furniture. I don't like walking through that maze of
Not
their
even the
store.
Swedish meatballs.
My wife did want me to swing by the other day to pick something up, and I did not realize that they have, just like your grocery store, whatever, you could like pull up outside and they'll bring it to you. Which I was like, okay, game changer. This could change the whole game. All right, let me
Make them walk through the maze for you.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was the whole trick. Like, once they get you in, you got to go through 18 different rooms, and you're going to end up spending a lot of money. All right, so what is something I'm not going to pay for? Well, so my lawn care, about 2 years ago, I decided I'm not going to have anybody mow my lawn. And I don't know if it's a good decision or a bad decision, but I like the way I do it better than the way they do it. The problem is, like, it takes me all day. So I don't know I might still opt to have somebody pay for that at some point. I'm going to say laundry. Is that a thing that people pay for? I don't want anybody folding my underwear. Like, keep your hand out of my clothes. That's what I want. So has anybody ever paid for that?
I mean, a laundromat.
Yeah.
Well, but don't you do your own stuff at the laundromat?
You could have a laundry service come.
Mariah,
I do
is there
know-
a service
Yeah.
of a laundry service? Okay. Do you dry? Can you like dry cleaning?
Yeah, like there's services where
Do people take their undergarments to dry cleaning?
I have no idea. I haven't been in a dry cleaners in a while.
Yeah. Brian likes his boxers
College
starched.
days.
How do you
nice
know
and
that?
starched. All right, BK, what about you? Do you have one?
Oh, it's got to be yard work. I mean, we talk about every Monday what we did in our yard this weekend. So
total old guy talk.
It's so old guy. I mean, Sean knows that. It's every Monday.
One day. He'll get there one day.
Yeah, but the designs
Do you
in the
guys
yard.
have the green stained pair of New Balances and the jean shorts
Yes.
just ready to go?
I have multiple shoes. Multiple yard shoes. Yep.
It's a point
Really
in
old.
life where you have to retire your good shoes to your yard cutting shoes.
Yep.
You know, there's always that stage in life where, you know what, these are now designed to be my yard cutting
Right.
shoes.
And where you normally give them away, but you're like,
Nope.
they're still good yard
There's
shoes.
some miles in
Because
these
they're
bad
totally
boys.
broken in.
These
Right.
got at least 10, 20 cuts left in them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Most
yeah,
of my
definitely.
shoes are yard shoes, in fact. I might be wearing. Yeah. Well, he talks about that a lot. He's an expert edger. So.
Oh, the edging's the
All
key.
right.
All right.
Let's fire up question number 2.
Okay, roll it.
Stop.
If household
we got a theme.
chores were an Olympic event, I'm sensing a theme here, guys. Which chore would you win a gold medal in?
Okay.
So what household chore you do absolutely best?
I see we're on a theme here.
I think so.
It looks like your honeydew list has been growing at home. So again, mowing, I'm good at, but I'm not the most efficient. I don't think I'd make it. I don't think I'd qualify. I think the end result is very on par with international standards, but I'm good at vacuuming
There's
too.
international standards for
Yeah, you want
lawn cutting?
you want lines. I mean, and there's an order to how you want to. To me, I edge first. That's what I want to do, and then I'm gonna bag my own stuff. So vacuuming, I'm also very good at. There's a method to that. You got to have good streaks. If you go random, then you're not a good vacuumer. You have to do the backwards walk, right? When you're
Yep.
you don't want to leave footprints. But I'm not going to do that because it really comes down to the quality of the vacuum more than anything. But I will say folding laundry is something I'm actually really good at. And I think what separates me actually, where I could achieve gold, is because most people hate folding the underwear and the socks and all the little things. But I think that's where I really excel. I'm good at finding good matches, and I think it trips a lot of people up. But so I'm going to say folding.
I'm my probably least favorite one, folding laundry, to be honest with you. But I have no problem doing the dishes. Didn't have a problem doing it growing up. Just don't check with my parents on that one. And I have no problem doing it now. I pretty much do it every night. So yeah, I like doing the dishes, and then plus the dishwasher does half the work for you. Sometimes you just got to rinse them, stick them in the dishwasher. So
I took you for a paper plate guy.
once upon a time, yeah. When I was eating 50-cent ramen,
Frozen
and,
burritos.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. BK, do you have one?
Mine's kind of like Sean's, but mine is actually loading the dishwasher. No one can load the dishwasher more efficiently than I can.
You get it.
It's
all
like
packed
adult
in.
Maximum
Tetris, right?
per load. Yeah, you're exactly, and everything comes out clean. Nothing's getting all gunked up after the wash. Okay. Yeah. So, and now my wife will wholeheartedly disagree with me because
Are you cleaning the plates off first? What's your? Because
It
I've heard
depends.
people say you don't want to clean it off
right.
because you want to leave the stuff on there.
Right. It depends. You know what's not going to come off, and then what's going to come off. But it's just that precision of where plates go, where bowls fit within one another, and the whole
Are
silverware.
you a bowl on the top rack guy or bottom only?
Well, we have two separate bowls, so the small bowls go up top.
Okay.
Don't take this guy to task. He obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on, man.
All right.
Good job, Buck. You want another one?
Yeah, let's fire it up.
Fire it up. Roll it.
This is.
Oh, this is me this time. Okay, and stop.
Ooh. Sean, you know this. Which would you rather do?
Oh.
Would you rather do the dishes after every meal or do the laundry once a week?
Oh, that's an easy one for me. I hate doing the laundry. Yeah, give me the dishes after every meal. I pretty much do that every night anyway. So yeah,
Look at him
the dishes.
boasting.
Yeah. I'm very efficient at the dishes. I've got a system.
Okay, that means that you're
I've
probably
got
not
them-
cleaning them very well.
No. I've got the scrub brush ready to go. I've got the water scalding hot, and I've got the dishwasher open.
Do you wear gloves? Do you wear those long yellow gloves?
No, I don't, because you know what? We've got
Gotta
the
have those.
moisturizing dish soap, and so you ask me why my hands are so soft. Get the moisturizing dish
This
soap.
is easy. In fact, I would go as far as to say I would rather do the laundry every day than wash dishes once a week.
You are an
I don't
animal.
like washing dishes. It's my least favorite. There's water on the counter when it's on. There's a mess. I got to clean it up. I got to figure out,
How do you wash dishes?
Well, look, if you're just telling me washing the dishes is just putting them in the dishwasher, then that's not. You're not washing. There's a machine that's doing that. You're just loading, as BK says he's an expert at. But like washing the dishes means you're actually scrubbing the plates, you're putting them on a rack, or you're drying them. Then you got to put them away. It's too laborious. It's not efficient. And I like folding because I love the smell of fresh laundry. All right, let's fire up. Oh wait, no, BK, you have one?
Oh, it's definitely dishes.
Okay.
It's just so quick. You can do that. I just do the laundry.
To each their own.
Yeah. All right,
I would not eat off your guys' plates though. I would only trust
come on,
your wives or girlfriends to clean your plates. All right, go ahead.
Here we go.
Stop! Stop! I said. We need to get the. Did we get the last system update on the randomizer?
I don't know if I charge it up well enough. Would you rather fold a fitted sheet perfectly every time, or never have to fold a fitted sheet again?
Yeah, you kind of hit me where it hurts here because fitted sheets are the one area that I can't abide. I don't know what to do with the fitted sheet. And I wish what we could do is, and I would maybe recommend like a bin, like in your linen closet, like a bin where that's where the fitted sheets go. You just ball them up, throw them in the bin, and then everything else is nice and folded. Because once you put it on the bed, all the wrinkles get stretched out anyway. The worst to me though is like when you are going to like put new sheets on, and you think you're pulling out like a regular sheet, but it's actually the fitted sheet, and you're like, now I have to fold it again. Like it tricked you because it was so well folded. But yeah, I don't like the fitted sheets. That does keep me up at night.
I'll tell you what. I don't know if I'm equipped to answer this question because way back when I lived with mom and dad, yes, folding a fitted sheet was the bane of my existence. But we have this system now where we don't fold any sheets. Okay?
Really?
Do not fold the sheets. Let me tell you how this works, folks, all right? What you do is you take a pillowcase. So you got 4 pillowcases in a set, right? You take one pillowcase and then just take the other 3 pillowcases, shove them in the bottom of that pillowcase. Take the folded sheet or the flat top sheet, put that in the pillowcase.
Your linen
and then
closet is a disaster.
Then you take the fitted sheet and you stuff it at the top. And you twist it up and you've got like a nice little knapsack of hey, these are those sheets if they're all together. Because you're right. They get messed up the second you put them on the bed. They're not going to be like wrinkle free forever.
But not all sheets are created equal. The fitted sheet is the outlier. That's the one that ruins it for everybody, right? Because especially when you take it out of the dryer and it's like it's got all your clothes like wadded up into like a power ball that's like tied in like 18 Boy Scout.
To me, it's like folding socks. Why do you fold socks when you could ball them up?
Well, I fold the socks so that they present in my sock drawer when I take them out, so I don't have to go looking for its pair. So my sock drawer is pristine. I mean, you should see it. Maybe I'll take a picture and post it.
This is a new segment.
It's how it's presented, right? Like part of the fitted sheet is that it doesn't fold well, and so it makes the whole linen closet look ridiculous. Like, what is this? Like, you have something hidden in there, and so I don't think that's a good way to live, Chris.
Okay, thanks for making fun of my linen closet, Scott.
All right, BK, what do you got?
I learned. I actually got on YouTube because I got sick and tired of just balling them up. Sat there, watched videos of how to fold a fitted sheet, and
you have a way.
It's almost simple now. It takes a little bit of patience because we're not as good as these guys on YouTube doing it, but holy cow, it makes a difference, man. And then you start taking pride. And I will say though, Shaun, good point. I take all our sheets, fold them up, and then put them in one of the pillowcases. So it's not coming out. They're all folded. So if you want the king size sheets, there's the king size pillowcase, pull it out, and all you got is a top sheet, fitted sheets.
So y'all never do like mix and match?
No.
Like, so your sets are always together?
Together,
yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
As best we try, we just can't.
And you were making fun of our linen closets.
Well, at least they're folded. I mean, on our bed. We'll have like
imagine
he's
random
he's
like
got
this pillow sheet has like a pattern.
Cases.
The one with drool stains is mine. I know that's how I know. That's mine. Okay.
That's it. Good job, Shaun.
That was fun. Did you have fun with the randomizer?
I love the randomizer for my first
I didn't know that
I
didn't know that we could hone the settings to like a particular topic, but
that might have been a fluke, but I'm going to investigate that.
That's cool.
That's
all right.
pretty cool.
Thanks, BK. I appreciate that. Hey, that does it for the No Off Days podcast. Let me give you just a round of applause here.
Well,
I think
thank you.
You did a great job. Now, I didn't even ask you about your shirt because I have no idea what does that mean.
What do we? Oh, my shirt. Yeah, it is I honestly, maybe Brian can help me answer it. Actually, I don't know what AIA means,
okay.
but this is a Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
it is.
Oh.
So yeah, their sponsor is AIA. I think it's like a Thai a finance firm or something.
I love
like that,
Thai
maybe.
food.
I might
be
be wrong on that. Brian's a Tottenham fan too.
I know. I've heard.
Insurance company.
Well, thank you for showing up and standing in well for one Chris Cato, and we hope that Chris hurries back, and we'll have him audition to see if he can be back on the show
It's
next
only
week.
fair at this point.
Much thanks to our crew. We got Mariah on the jib, we got Chris on the ones and twos, and we have, of course, BK back in the booth. And thanks to our guests as well. Bucky Irving, great to catch up, and Shaun King laying it down on our picks. All right, until the next time we are on, there are no off days. Great job.